Alright, chat. We're here. I don't know why I don't see the Twitch chat anymore. Maybe I have to change my settings. Polarizing lenses, everybody. Let's go. Is this only going to one stream? I don't. Yeah, but like, why can't I want to use the Runtman emote. Alright, chat. We'll go through the month June. Boo on month of June. Well, actually not boo, but kind of boo. So that's that. And then we'll go into trades for the week. And then maybe scan for some new ideas.
Row setup.
Okay, chat. Guess let's get to it. Alright. I guess this should really be under July goals. I'll have to figure that out. Alright. Yeah, this is it. Okay. So the goals, this is for June. I did better on this. On the no notes, no trade. Working on this, so we've developed more Friday, Monday trades. Because we're selling premium, so those are becoming better. We're keeping track of those, so we're going to continue the wheel process. We're going to continue those. This should really be the July goals. This should be moved to the other part of the presentation. So let's take a look at June. I think we got it back to even from the tariff debacle. We'll see how all that pans out. This is the performance of the account. I'm lagging behind the indices, which isn't good, but we'll try to change that. That QQQ trade, I think part of it, I don't know if that's cumulative PNL or if it's not paired. This thing, still haven't figured that out, but it was a down month, at least realized. So that's that. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's just, it was kind of a month or whatever. Took a lot of losses in June. But made money in iBit. Yeah, that QQQ trade, yeah, whatever. So we're gonna keep doing the short puts. We're gonna keep with the, yeah, we're gonna keep with the short puts and try it on different tickers, and you're assigned the shares and you just start the wheel strategy. So the items that you pick have to be pretty liquid, they have to have really good options. I think that's, you know, something to take away, and then just more consistent types of plays. I had a few good trades that we'll see on, I think it was the 2nd. Just went with price action. I didn't really think about it too much, you know. And I just kind of went with it for the day trading. I didn't think about, I just kind of waited, and then I took the trades. I VWAP trades, so stop the yawning. Is there a light missing? I don't think there's a light missing. Shadow banned because I'm playing music. Wash my hair. Yeah, these are the, and I didn't break it down because I got frustrated and wiped all my data away. So we don't have all the historical data, which kind of makes me sick when I talk about it, but that's, it's time for a reset. Yeah, I got rid of all those labels and still didn't get rid of the problem in the data. So that's not great. Oh yeah, one of my new goals is to create a GPT journal. So that's what I want to do. The GPTs don't really like the data in its current form, so I need to do some more research to make my own journal, and then next year I don't have to pay for a journal. So that'll save on some costs. That'll be nice, to not have to pay for a journal, and try to make one that works for me and the things that I want to look at. Like, the other journals are great, but it's like there's so many features, it's like I don't even utilize all those. And I just need the things that I need to look at, like premium received, P&L, just really basic things. Like, I don't, getting all bogged down in all those different statistics just doesn't help. Like, is the account growing or not? That's all we really need to know. We don't need to know, like, maybe my performance against the S&P, the P&L, the number, your thetas and the IV. Those things you want to keep track of, like how many of each sector do you have, like, so I want to try to use ChatGPT to make my own journal. That's what I'm going to work on. And still no notes, no trade, and we're going to focus more on selling TQQQ premium. And although IV is a little low, I mean, it's not that low. It's at 18, which isn't terrible, but and it'll probably stay here. It'll stay at 18, so you'll get decent premiums. I mean, it's not 15 or 13, so let's hope it doesn't go that low. But I guess at that point you're just buying stock. Like, if it switches to being that low, you know, you have to maybe think about a different, or things just maybe take longer. So we'll take it from there, but the idea is to get more consistent income from the money that I already have. And one way to do that is through you know, selling puts. So, and that's worked, so we know that that's buying stock and selling puts have been the most successful strategies that I've implemented. And I know that buy and hold works to some extent, so past 3 years it's worked really well in my other portfolios. So getting an element of that with the selling of the puts, I think, can be helpful in making the portfolio a little bit more consistent. A consistent winner. And yeah, we'll go into August. I did get out of the Amazon position. I thought, well, maybe I could I guess we could just go into the trades for the week. What I could do, I could have rolled it. Overall, it was only, it went from a 2-3 grand loss to less than that, so I took it. And maybe overall, these don't account for that trade. Like, those aren't even in here. Like, that's annoying. Like, where's that whole fucking trade? Like, that, see, that's what I don't know. Like, this doesn't, I held this trade for like months. So, I don't know. And like, I think this needs to be combined with another trade. Like, it's part of a vertical spread. So, I don't know. Like, that's frustrating to me. Maybe it'll appear, because maybe it doesn't appear in the spreadsheet, but these spreadsheets that are like ChatGPT doesn't even like the spreadsheets that come out of this. And the fact that TD does not have some sort of AI built into this, like, boo. Like, when's Robinhood gonna add the AI component to their thing? Like, there's your superpower. Maybe they already do. I haven't followed them a long time. I know they're at all-time highs. That's pretty cool. But let's go to the last week, last 7 days. Always tend to do well the first like 2 weeks of a month. That seems to be a consistent pattern. So maybe just ride that. Need to size up here. Like I made $100 in an hour. What if you took more shares? Like you can control that trade. You're doing like crazy ass trades. You're doing crazy trades. You could do that trade. That was only what, 250 shares? You gotta bump it up. You gotta bump those numbers up. Use that day trading margin. Apple, I still don't believe in Apple. I still think they're behind. Like, even if they buy Perplexity, what are they gonna do with it? Like, what? So it'll be integrated, I guess. They still need data. So even if they buy Perplexity, even if they do that, how does that help you on your Apple device? Would that integrate into your data? Their whole thing is like, oh, we protect your data. Now they're gonna have to open it up. I don't know. I still think they're behind. I don't care if they're buying Perplexity. They don't have well, here's what they need. To keep it positive, here's what they need. Their whole thing has been built on one device, the iPhone. So they need something, I think, that is like the iPhone but somehow integrates with AI and somehow helps you. It helps drive something. It helps something. Like, you know what I mean? It helps you do something. It changes maybe the way you interact with AI. Like, so there's AI, but then there's all this stuff layered on top of it, and then it's like, well, what can you do with it? What could you create with it? What could it do for you? You know, does it recommend something? Does it, you know, one of the things that I need AI to do is, like, I have good ideas for different documents, different ideas, different research, but then it needs to put it in a format, because a lot of what I do in my other job is templatized, so it has to be in a particular format. And what I haven't really been able to get it to do is these have their very, very particular formats. Like, you know, you're getting something from Gemini or ChatGPT based on the output and how it looks. Like, you know, oh, you got that from ChatGPT. That's the other thing that needs to change, is it can't look like that. So I need to be able to give it a format, and it needs to be able to pump out something that looks acceptable in the formats that I have to use. Doesn't do that. Doesn't do that very well yet. There's still a lot of bits and pieces that have to be done in order to make that happen. But like, if you could do that, I think you know, if you had something within the Apple universe that helps you do that, I think that would be meaningful. That it really did something for you, that you prompted, it's by you. That's important. I think the one issue with AI that I could see is that it could become where they want to monetize like every little part of it, and it becomes impossible to use because it's too expensive, and like you maybe only get one search. Like you don't get anything beyond that, because they'll just charge for every little level of the query. Like, which, I mean, I guess it would depend on how you needed to use it, but I just, I think that could be the downfall of it, is that they try to monetize it too much, and then people are like, well, it's too expensive, and they stop using it. I guess it depends now, like how ingrained it gets. I know they're trying to give free accounts, and they're trying all these different things, and you know, everybody's hyped about it, but I don't know. That's something to think about. Again, just like, I don't think that Apple, they gotta come out with something. This is all BS to me. This is junk. Perplexity's not enough. It's just not enough. All in all, it would be what? It would be, maybe, I guess it would be built in, then they don't need Google, so maybe that it's more of a knock-on effect to Google than it is to Apple. But see, Apple's not creating anything of themselves. Google is actually creating VO3. They have the notebook. They have a bunch of different AI tools that are fully integrated. I mean, so I still think Apple's behind in the AI game. But we'll see what they come out with. I think, you know, if I notice this as a user, they know it. They know where they are. Everybody else does too. So this is not new information. But I think this rise in the price is bullshit. I'm just not, like, whatever. They have so much money though. How do you short them? They're always gonna win. Like, they're always gonna win. This is a momentum play. This was actually a really good trade. I'll have to put this one. It's not a high dollar amount. It's only because I don't take proper size. Needed more than what, 100 shares, 200 shares? How many shares was it? Execution's 2, so if it was 2, then it was 100 shares. Yeah, it was 100 shares. Buy and sell 100 shares. But yeah, that was only 100 shares. I should have done more. Should have bought more. Let me take a picture here though. We'll maybe use this in the we'll use this in the short afterwards. But I like this one. It was high. I'm looking at relative. So when I do my scan in the morning, I think I have trade ideas up. No, that's the other thing too. I mean, sadly, I think you could probably get some of my RVol over here. I scan by this now. So I have my symbol, the price, the volume of shares, the dollar volume, which is sometimes interesting. I look for gaps, so I'll click gaps in the pre-market, and then when the market opens, this actually starts to populate. It doesn't populate before the market opens. And then I search by relative volume, which has been pretty good. That's been better than just looking at price or gaps. Often things gap and crap. They just gap up and then they just go back down again. That's kind of why I gave up on that strategy. That whole like gap and whatever strategy, that doesn't hold for most stocks. Earnings are coming up, so that might be a good time to look at that scanner again. And what I need to do too is like things that do well on earnings. They have good earnings sentiment. Really, it's just earnings sentiment, because I'm not gonna go freaking look at all the numbers. There's some apps that do it for you. Maybe I can even incorporate, that's kind of what the AI notebook could do too. Maybe bring in some of that information about earnings, and we can create some scans, even though I have this scan too from there, just bringing all that different information and see what I can get. So things that do well on earnings tend to keep doing well through the next quarter. So we'll see how that works. And then there's the whole thing of fucking tariffs again. They need to figure that out. Kind of tired of hearing about it. Like, kind of tired of it being in the news. Like, waste all this fucking time and energy on dumb shit. Like, and there's like real stuff that needs to be done. Like real people that are being hurt and real people that this and that. And they're all focused on fucking tariffs. Like, who fucking cares? Like, the whole thing doesn't seem to be changing really any trajectory of anything. And I don't know, the real impact. Like, why don't you just tax rich people more? Like, fuck tariffs. Like, tax people who can actually afford it. Why don't you just do that? Wouldn't that solve the problem too? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. No, I wonder, like, by letting a certain class of people become so rich, does that devalue money for the rest of us? Because it's so, like, in the stratosphere. Like, the one thing that people don't talk about either is, like, how much... This is a rant. This is a sidetrack. Like, I think, too, about how much... Like, so before COVID, there was a certain, you know, you had different tax brackets, this and that, different people in those brackets, different distribution in those brackets. I never researched that. I'd have to maybe AI could help with that. But like, how many people were in each bracket and how that's changed since the Rona. I'm gonna guess there's a lot more rich people. There's a lot more people in those upper brackets. A lot more billionaires, a lot more multimillionaires. No one's really talking about how the stratification is just widened. And it's not really widened. There's more like giant gaps. So there's like levels, gaps, level. Like there's a dead zone. You got to cross your Squid Game bridge to get across to the next tower. And it's like it's widening as you're trying to cross it, so you got to try to get across it before it's too wide, and then you're stuck on your Squid Game plank, and then you're either stuck there or you fall. Yeah, economic Squid Games, let's go. Anyway, I was just thinking, like, no one really talks about how... I feel like when we listen to the news and we listen to something like the economic data and the way that things are, people consider things, I still think it's kind of an old way of thinking. Like, it hasn't caught up with the reality and the reality of where people are on this socioeconomic spectrum. We're not accounting for that change. We're still counting numbers and looking at data and looking at things from a lens of old models. I know it takes a long time for those models to change, but I think and then they want to talk about people losing their jobs all the fucking time. That's annoying. That's really annoying. Oh, you're gonna lose your job because of AI. You're gonna lose your... Just scaring people. They're always trying to scare you about losing your job. Always. If it's not one thing, it's another. If it wasn't AI, it'd be something else. So, I don't know if I believe that hype either. That's just like a dream of companies, so they don't have to pay anybody. They could, like, just like we want to be lazy, they want to be lazy too. They don't want to pay people. They want to create some fantasy land where, like, a company just works magically without anybody there. That's not going to happen. And the way that I've seen it play out is I have more work to do. I've started to experiment with ways that it can help me do my work, but I only see that I have more to do. I don't have less. I also have to keep track of more things. So you need to utilize tools that help you keep track of things better and faster. And I find that you're going to be expected to output faster. So you're doing more work, you have to keep track of more things. Although the tools are there, you're required to do quite a bit. And multitask across multiple... It's not really multitask, like it's... You're just going to have a lot more projects. Multitasking is a fallacy. You can't do that. You can't multitask. You can't task switch and get anything done. It's just not gonna work. You have to, yeah. And the level of focus, the level of detail, the level of expertise, that has not changed. And I would say that if you're not so good, AI isn't necessarily gonna make you better. But if you are better, AI, if you apply what you know and you know you're better, you're more productive, you're more detail oriented, you're more all of those things that matter. AI amplifies that. So AI kind of amplifies whatever you are. Like whatever state you're in, it will amplify that. So like, yeah, you know, you still have to learn how to use it to make you better, because it only reacts to how good its inputs are. So if you give it crappy inputs, it's going to get crappy outputs. It'll help you get to the crappy output faster, but it won't make it better. And I find too that, you know, even you have to do a lot of iterations. You have to be patient. You have to be persistent. So some of those qualities still exist too. So if you're not patient or persistent, you're not going to get a good quality output. I guess that's my AI rant for the day. AI rant. It all started because of that Apple trade. Yeah, Apple trade. I'm still not convinced that they... No, and I could see initially like you poo-pooed it, this and that, but like, there's something there, and you need to tap into it. But yeah, I guess that's the end of the AI rant. We save this picture, we'll move on. Gold is pretty persistent. It's kind of flailing around in these levels, but it's not really gone down. So still the uncertainty, I think, is keeping gold higher. I don't think that's going to come down until Trump's gone. Yeah, I think in the next 3 years, you're just going to see it elevated, floating into the highest levels. What was this trade? Was this just my shares? Oh yeah, it was just the shares. Okay. Should have held on to them for another day. But it was a short week, so I was like, I don't really want to... Maybe this week I'll be more, because we have... I mean, earnings are coming up, but we'll see, I guess, if the effect of tariffs or if they're eating the costs. You know, how long companies can eat the costs of the tariffs. Because I don't know that it's shown up yet. Like, that'd be something to research, is like where... I think I listened to something that said it is starting to show up, but I'd have to research that myself. Whether or not the prices are the... I think really just now it's uncertainty. Nothing is set in stone yet. Let's all remember that none of this stuff is even in effect. It's all frickin' imaginary. It's just uncertainty. There's no certainty in any of this. There's nothing written down. There's nothing... And none of these are actually trade deals. The only entity that can actually make a trade deal is Congress, not the president. These are like agreements, or like there's some other word for them. The media is not portraying these things correctly. Unilateral trade deals like NAFTA or things like that have to be done through Congress. And the only thing I think we're going to get passed is the big beautiful bill. After that, you ain't going to get anything big, you ain't going to get anything beautiful. And if the Republicans lose the Congress in 2 years, you ain't getting anything done. The market's like that. The market's like it when there's They like chaos because they can do whatever they want. And then we're still going into debt. How does that work out? We're gonna grow that much? I don't know. The way we got to here was relying on outsourcing labor. We're gonna bring it all back to America? We better have a lot of robots. Better have a lot of freaking robots, man. Robots doing everything, all kinds of things. Because otherwise... Gotta have lots of robots. But in the meantime, we'll ride the hype train. We will ride that train until it falls off a cliff. Hopefully we're in the caboose so we can get out before it all falls over. This is my short put. I don't know what this is. What the hell is that? Was I short? Oh, maybe I was short the market. Yeah, okay. Oh, this is the one that I figured that out, yeah. I guess the one thing that I would miss in a Jeep... See, look, this is bullshit. I shouldn't even be trading this. Like, you see it in the longer time frame. Like, what are you doing trading this chop? Like, we didn't get out of chop until 2:40 in the after frickin' noon. Need like a chop indicator. Like, let's go back. Let's go back to it because I do kind of have a chop indicator. So this was the 30th. What's this date? This is the 1st. Okay. Look, all yellow. Don't trade that. Frickin' trade that. Choppity choppersons. Like, that's not... No. Like, right now, we have a bunch of green. So we'll see what happens in the overnight. I don't know how the market's gonna open. Like, is it gonna like the big beautiful bill? Is it not gonna like it? Like, there's a lot of debt. That's inflationary. I don't know. Hey, maybe we'll have... I think everybody else has already done this. Use ChatGPT to analyze the big beautiful bill. It'd be a bunch of propaganda. It's just gonna feed it like sponsored ads. Oh, that was my other idea about ChatGPT, is that, like, you know, you'll have your free version, but it's gonna be littered with ads and like sponsored content and like just misinformation up and down. Like, you'd have to pay for it to get it to give you any decent answer, and even then, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's not trade this. How about that? How about we make that a July rule? Stop trading chop. Wait till it gets out of chop. Didn't even get out of there. I mean, it's a gap and chop. So this was a gap and chop. This was a gap and fall. And then kind of looking at this, like up here, I feel like, yeah, like it's just went into it got to a new high and then it just consolidated. There was some big volume here. There's been some good volume spikes. You'll probably see, maybe you see another one on Monday. So maybe that's what you see. Start Monday because it's a full week. All the things. Maybe you see that gap up. Still holding on to my TQQ short position though. I have a call spread because those have worked out so well. I ain't giving up though. Giving up. Will not give up because I don't believe it. Honestly, none of it's real. It's all this idea of AI doing this, that. Right now, it's just an expense. It doesn't save any company any money. I don't know. No, and then the other thing too is, like, if you do use it, I think you have to have clear parameters around how it's used, how you prompt it. Like, for a business case, you're going to want specific types of results. You're not going to want every type of result that's possible through ChatGPT. You want it to be in a constrained formula. Like, that's how I need to use it. Like, I need it to help me flesh out my ideas like an assistant, but the end result has to be a template. It has to fit into a template, and it has to be something that I can present to other people. It has to be comprehensible. Sometimes the results are only comprehensible to me. It has to, I have to make my stuff from ChatGPT has to be available to a wide audience. And right now that's hard to kind of do, like, because it won't put things in a template. It'll still want to do its ideas of things. No. But in a way, I think that is kind of like an assistant. If you hired somebody, that's what it would do. Your assistant would be all over the place until you train them to do what you needed them to do. Well, yeah, no, I was thinking about something else, Chad. My mind went to another place. But that was the week. I mean, at least it was positive. Whatever. We'll keep selling premium. Let me actually... One second here, chat. Let me do something real quick here. Okay, that's that. I need to pull up my other screen. And the other takeaway from this month was, so I had my trades that I kind of wanted at the beginning of the year. I still have IBIT. I was always too much of a hot potato with the TQQQ, but I think I'm going to lean into it. Because I was supposed to run the wheel strategy on it. I'm a little afraid that it's going to go down, but until the price action tells you it's going to do that, I just think you keep going with the direction it's going and you just kind of follow price. You don't really think beyond that. But I do need other positions, so I'll keep the TQQ IBIT. That was the original idea last year, that those would be kind of my core positions, trading in and out of those. I did want something where I could earn more premium. I think right now Walmart, because that was a winner. I'll keep that. I had the Amazon trade. I could have got out even on that, but I'd rolled down my call, and that was the death nail of that trade. I could have held on to it. I could have rolled out. I could have got a credit on that, but it still would have been a $1,500 loss. So you're still fighting that. I think overall with what I did in the price appreciation, it did become less of a loss. It was far more after the tariff, whatever the hell that was, Liberation Day, April Fool's joke. I don't know what the hell that was. But it was better than that. I'll say that. But still a loss. But Amazon does have some pretty nice premiums. But maybe it would be good to move, I don't know, Nvidia? Like, Jesus, it's almost at 160. I should have bought more. I put some in long-term portfolio. I was like, next time it goes down near 100, I want to buy one share. And so I did. I did buy a share of Nvidia. Now I have 2 shares. I have 2 shares of Nvidia. Should have bought more. Should have bought way more, chat. Just like load the boat until this hype train is over. I don't think we're there yet. I don't know where we're at. Honestly, I have no idea. We're just gonna follow price. Price is moving up. We don't need to think about it too much. We don't, as a retail trader, even if you know the why and the how, you don't know how the market's gonna move. Even if I think someone told you, well, like Trump told you to buy stock, so I guess maybe you listen to that. I guess that's your insider info. Like, you could follow that, but let's say, you knew some things, you knew the things. Like, I think you still have to be patient for those things to work out. Like, I don't know that just because you know something And the thing is too, usually when you know something, it spikes or drops, and then it just kind of goes back to normal. So you still have to get out at the right time. So even you have to get in at the right time, you still have to get, so those fundamentals are still there. So even if you do know something, you still have to act on that something. And whether or not everybody acts on that something is So yeah, insider information, you know, maybe it gives you a slight edge, but not, I don't know, from where I'm standing, it's no edge for me. There's no edge. There's no edge. All right, let's go ahead and go back in. So we'll take a look at the current position. So let's look for maybe like tomorrow and like what we could be looking at. So we do have currently I have a call spread that's the 90-95 call spread, and it probably gets blown out, who knows. I'm still not really willing to give it up though. So in TQQQ, I'm not really willing to give up that play just yet. There's 75 days left on it. You know, any pullback, I could probably break even on that, so I'm not too worried. My current put is, I sold a put at the 78 strike, so I have that. More likely than not, I'll probably collect 50% on that, so I'll probably roll that out for another week or two. And this week, I don't think we have a lot of data this week. Bank earnings start the next week. My guess is when's the Fed meeting? So the July Fed meeting is probably at the end of the month. The 29th and 30th, so it's at the end of the month. And then there's no meeting in August. And then he's supposed to cut, the consensus is that they're cutting in September. There's still a few days to like, you know, shake the trees a little bit and talk about a rate cut for July. So I don't know if they'll do it though. I'm just thinking about volatility. Mostly I'm just thinking about where the volatility might come in. It might be in that situation. You have earnings, you have a Fed meeting, and this pressure for a rate cut. Yeah, but cutting rates right now, that seems so inflationary. Like you cut rates and doesn't growth, how are growth and inflation related? Because like if we could grow, but you'd want things to be cheaper. Like, I don't know. And then like, even if we're growing, like what's the demand for the growth? So the output that you're creating, your gizmo, your service, whatever, is there a demand for it? And like, if you have fewer workers, doesn't that mean that you have fewer Workday accounts? Doesn't that mean you have fewer Google accounts, fewer of all these services that you use? Or yeah, like maybe costs for businesses go down, but then like, well, if people don't have jobs, they're not going to buy a subscription. If companies don't have the demand for their gizmo, whatever that gizmo is, are they going to buy space or a chip from NVIDIA to run AI? If less people are buying things, there's less money out there to circulate. Because our economy is based on buying things. So if there's fewer people buying things because they either don't have a job or maybe they don't need them, or AI replaces some service that you used to pay money for. I don't know, chat. I don't know. Maybe it'll all just balance out at some point, but like, I don't know. That makes me think right there. Like, if people not, so like if you downsize your company, doesn't that mean like you downsize your other subscriptions? I don't know. I don't know, chat. Anyway, sidetrack. So 78 put, that's one way far away from that, as long as the market doesn't crash. We'll get that. And then I have a strangle on IBIT. Both with lots of days. Oh yeah, for IBIT, I was gonna take those profits and then go and sell puts. That was my idea with this one. So take my profits and start selling puts and reestablish the position. That's the goal here. If I can do that on Monday, that's what I'm doing. Take my profits and run. Because I kind of realized, like, yeah, it's good to let things, you know, ride as long as they can, but at some point I think you have to take profits. If it's still a strong trend, roll with it. If it looks like it's rolling over, change your direction, or maybe revisit it later when it's back on trend. So that's... I'll keep my put. I'll keep that there. Because it was supposed to be, again, a core position for the year. So we'll do that. Where's Walmart at? I think Walmart hasn't come down enough. Walmart's kind of stuck in a range. It is moving to the higher part of its range. I feel like I want more of a pullback though before I sell puts in Walmart. I wouldn't mind having another group of shares of Walmart. I think that would be fine. Walmart's a beast. Beast of a trade. Well, these things, I don't know about these things. Oh man, we need another day trading, shoot, yeah. We need a new dashboard. So what trades do we have on? We have TQQQ, IBIT, Walmart, who else is in here? Google. So... we don't have Amazon anymore. We don't carry gold. TQQQ is in the paper trading experimental folder. So we need to save this for, save my new grid for June or July, and we can add new tickers to it. And then thinking like 6 months, you know, what are the themes or the trends? So I think there's 2 rate cuts. So to me, that makes me think about TLT. So having that as an idea for a trade. Stock trends though, I guess thinking, okay, if we're gonna do this AI thing, that's gonna require energy, it's gonna require building, it's gonna require subscriptions, it's gonna require that people are working very hard to find ways to monetize their AI and make it meaningful and useful. So I still think AI is going to be a big trend. That's kind of the Ozempic of this year is AI. That's the trend. And then the things that you can build on top of it. There's a couple of IPOs. I think Figma is coming out. We still have Circle that was really big. Yeah, crypto. I guess crypto, AI, like how crypto will evolve in this new landscape where it's more accepted. So IBIT stays on. That's part of that trend. So AI, interest rates, crypto, I don't know if there's anything else. You know, any way that a company can innovate with AI. Should have held on to my Robinhood shares. $100 a share. Oh, okay, maybe Robinhood will pull back because I think part of why it was going up is because it might be included in the S&P 500. So if there's any pullback in Robinhood, we might be dealing with that too. Forget if they're a bank. I don't know if they're like SoFi yet. SoFi became a bank. the banks have been performing too. That might be. I kind of wanted to hold another bag. Hopefully, it's more successful than Amazon. But I might hold a financial bag because that's a good diversifier away from the tech and the crypto. So maybe financials. That maybe. Like a pullback in Robinhood. SoFi is crazy. Like SoFi moves around, man. SoFi is the same chart as Robinhood, though. The PE ratio on this 43 times earnings. What's Robinhood, like 1,000 times earnings? 53. It's a little pricey. It's a little expensive. You're paying a little bit for those earnings, I tell you. I don't know. I know Robinhood gets a bad rap and whatever, but like, man, you want to talk about you want to put people in investing. This is a great place to start and a great place to stay because they don't have any fees. So if you're doing long-term stuff, Robinhood is absolutely fine. And it's an American company. It's not based in some other country. Like Webull is backed by China. So, you know, at least this one's like an American company. So, Coinbase is America. Robinhood's American. So maybe those go on the watch list. But granted, you could also just do like JP Morgan. But for that, I'd have to do call spreads. It's nice to just do naked puts because at least in the end, you get the shares and it's only one contract versus a group of contracts, which can get really expensive. I think Robinhood and SoFi do offer products to more people. I think that part of it is interesting to me. It's consumer level. It's interesting technology. It's interesting the way they want to interact with a younger generation. People that are primarily on their phones. I think that they're hitting good marks there. I don't know how profitable SoFi is, and then I'd have to go look at the rundown for Robinhood. No, maybe. You know, instead of a journal, that one website with the AI-powered reports for stocks, like that produce graphs and stuff, like maybe instead of a journal, because I can do that with AI, I could be a different software that I could, or different, yeah. So I was thinking, like, you kind of need a report of Robinhood and that kind of stuff. Like, who gives you the best summary of the company and cash flows, things like that. A lot of that's free, though. You don't have to pay for that. So, I'll think about that, though. That's kind of a sidetrack. Anyway, themes for the next 6 months. And I guess, you know, will tariffs hurt? How much will the tariffs hurt the consumer? Oh, and then like the Medicare losses, and then people not on SNAP benefits. I mean, I don't know how much that affects the larger economy, but that's not good. I'll say that. Like, how much is that gonna affect people, and those people, like, those are the most vulnerable people. Like, to say, oh, you're sick and you can't get help. I mean, I don't know. That to me is just cruel. Absolutely. And then you gotta work. You're sick. You need help. And they're telling you need to go and get a job. You need to get well. You don't need a job. like get well. And we're all obsessed with all these people that, they're on the system and they're just taking money away. No, they're not. This is a very small. If to be able to fraud the system like that, you got to be pretty fucking sophisticated. Like, I don't think most people are that sophisticated and they can do that work. And if it is happening, it's probably some kind of inside job. Like, it's someone in the department that knows how to do the paperwork. So they're like getting a bunch of people together and they're doing something. You'd have to have insider information because that process is not easy. It's not straightforward. It's not intuitive. It is absolutely difficult to get those benefits. Like, the stories they tell about, these people playing video games and no, I don't think that's the vast majority of people. I think a lot of these people are vulnerable and they're poor and they're sick and they need help and no one's helping them. And so instead of helping them, we're going to take away their benefits and we're going to make them suffer. I hope someone exposes the real effect and the real story of that, because I know there's a lot of hype around it. This, that, $1 trillion. You won't notice $1 trillion gone from your services. You're not going to notice $1 trillion. And then my other question with that, when Trump said that, because he said that in his little Independence Day speech, $1 trillion, you won't miss it. Where's it going? Because the money is just reappropriated, so where's it going? Is it going back to the government? Okay, so that, where's it going there? Is it going to military spending? Is it going to this or that, the other thing? Where's it going? Is it just going to service the debt? I can relate to that problem, but that's not a good way to use your money. It doesn't help growth. Keeps you indebted to your debtors. Yeah, where's that money going, chat? So, like, I guess maybe the government won't. Well, sorry. So they're saving $1 trillion. Okay. Money just doesn't sit around. Rich people don't just be like, oh, yeah, I got that money sitting right there, not doing anything. That's bullshit. Where's it going? $1 trillion. You won't even miss it. Okay. And it's $1 trillion. Just remember, I guess the last thing I'll say, it's $1 trillion we all worked for. The money just doesn't come out of anywhere. It's $1 trillion because people in the United States work and they pay taxes and they have businesses and the economy is in constant motion. Just remember who made that money. It wasn't Trump. It was not Trump at all. He didn't make that money. He takes your money. Yep. No, I was just reflecting on where that $1 trillion he said we weren't going to miss. Where is it going to go? Just wondering where it's going to go. Anyway. That's all good. Anyway, we got to figure out how we're going to make money in all this. Doesn't matter what they're doing. That's not our pay grade, chat. We can bitch and moan about it as much as we want. Like, that ain't our pay grade. All we can see is price. We can see price, volume, and time. That is all we can see, and that is what we have to trade from. So that is what we will do, chat. That is what we will do. In the end, that's all we can see. So I got price here, I got volume, I got time. So there we go. Alright, so what I say, we're going to be probably rolling it out because it'll be at 10 days. So roll it out another 10 days. So we'll just roll it out every week. Try to collect some premium, do a little experiment, see how it works. Add Walmart if it pulls back. We're selling iBit and keeping the put. So that's Monday's activities. We need more trades. We do need we need to redeploy some capital. So we'll do it in TQQ. I don't know if I'll be spicy and maybe add another contract. I don't know, chat. Might be doing some wild stuff. Add another contract there. But yeah, we need to also go through the my journal. So let's do that. So we can go to Koyfin, get all that fun stuff. Oh wait, let's see how's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin is up. Okay. Bitcoin is up. Okay. All right, we're looking at last week. Everything's up. Let's look at the 3 months because we're at the quarter now. We are up. So NDX is up 16%, SPX up 10 or 11. Russell is up 9, and the Dow is up 6% year to date. Everything's positive. So NDX is up 8%, SPX is up 6, Dow is up 5, and the Russell is up 0.85. So there's 6 more months left. I guess I don't think it's necessarily going to go down. I think what is it? The average return for the market any given year is about 8%. So if we stayed right here, you could claim victory. You know, the market's still up, all-time highs. Ding, ding, ding. Like, that's a great story to tell, right? As long as by like the end of the year, the market's up, I think that's all that matters. Maybe it's only up 8%. That's fine. 8% gain on a year. That was crazy. I also don't think we're going down 20% again. If we do that again, something ain't right. Like, I think then it's sort of a stealth bear market. Like, if we have that kind of swing again, that it's bear markets have those really weird swings. Like, bull markets tend to be a little bit more steady. Bear markets are like all over the just everything all over the place. Mess. Just, you don't know where it's gonna go. One day it's down, next day it rips your face off. Like, you don't know. Very erratic. An erratic market. Bull markets seem to be very like steady. Like, you kind of know what's gonna happen. Pullbacks aren't too wild. Maybe they'll give us a little 10%er to scare us a little bit, but then they'll bring it back by the end of the year. But then I guess ultimately it's like, well, did we really go anywhere? No. I think as long as there's a little bit of growth, little bit of gain, fine. We'll see how much further we go up. But they got it positive, so I don't know who they is. I keep saying they, like, who's they? But we're up and away. Let's look at the sectors. So last 5 days, KRE. I don't remember what ITB is. I think that's ITB is Homes. Okay. The Homes, oil, gas, KRE just skyrocketed. Oh no, that is ITB. ITB skyrocketed. Wow. Metals, mining, materials. This is a little defensive. Consumer discretionary. You know, I think one area that kind of hasn't had a recession, like, because there's been like these rolling sector-specific drops in things. I don't know if consumer discretionary's had that yet in the last 3 years. Anyway, XLF, XLP, Everything was up. Okay. Gold even up a little bit. I don't know if this has to do with Tesla and Amazon though. I think financials are maybe still the most interesting to me. Financials, maybe SMH. We'll go through a look-see and see what we like. On the quarter, yeah, SMH is doing really well. So thinking kind of ahead, what, you know, the move ahead 6 months. So what's higher? SMH, metals mining, tech, gold, industrials, which also includes Uber. And I think every week I've said communications. I think every week since the beginning of the year, communications and financials have always been the top ones. Which means like Meta, Google, AT&T. Like, man, you were talking about something that should have been a covered call. Damn. You would have done just that all year long? See, that's what I need to go find. I need to go find my AT&T, yo. Goobus Goobus. Oh, Goobus. Oh man, if you would have played AT&T. That's the trade right there. Broke the downtrend. That's something to look for. So stocks that are breaking out of their downtrend, I think that is something that we can go and scan for. That something's breaking out of its downtrend. So do the regular kinds of things like I always do, but then, you know, things that are breaking out of a down, not just like breaking out, but they've been in a significant downtrend and now they're breaking out again. Like that's what I would look for. Getting a little tired though. That's kind of a problem right now. I'm getting a little. I don't want to save it. Jesus. One mistake, you make the same mistake again. Okay, let's go. Your semis, the banks will probably do well next week because earnings are the following week. So maybe we have the financials on our radar for next week. Oh, let's look by volume. Oh. Interesting. Take this whole fucking list. We might be looking at some of these smaller names. Any pumper time, baby. So these are the best stocks by, or highest performers by volume. Traded this. That's not what I do. Does he literally drive a $100,000 car? Oh, jeez. Damn. Streamer lifestyle, let's go. He's still doing it too. This is an interesting mix. Meta down. These are still down. These are losing every week. Ain't nobody talking about that. Ever since Warren Buffett decided to retire, Berkshire Hathaway's been on the list of lowest performing stocks by market cap every week. Just saying. I'm just saying. Sadly, I don't know that I would put my money in there. I mean, I kind of wanted to. I wanted to like put spreads or this or that other thing, but I don't know. I think the new dude has to prove himself. That's what the investors are saying. Like, they're not going to keep their money in there if Warren Buffett's not there. Single point risk factor in that whole trade is Warren Buffett. It all relies on one guy. But I think too, you know, the world has changed, and maybe some of what he said it'll stay relevant in the future. Maybe some of it will not, and so we need to figure that out. You know, that's the thing that has to be figured out. Oh, we can do that too. We can put that in here. Put this screen in here. Be cool if it had like the tickers that I traded. That'd be kind of cool. Like just a summary. I mean, you have them here, but it'd be cooler to see them on the dashboard. So the trade planning, we kind of already said that, so we'll do, we'll start the earnings. There's a few earnings this week. There's actually deltas this week. So we could start looking at, you know, things that are performing well and try to build that watch list. So actually build the earnings watch list for weekly setups. For the news, go ahead and look at the news. Oh man, Europe's burning. Texas is flooding. Pretty much have a deal. Maybe this month this is figured out. Need to ask it questions. Anyway, that's the news. I don't know. Nothing really like or anything wild and crazy right now. I don't think so. Oh yeah, the big beautiful bill. Increase the standard deduction. Raises a... So, no tax. So, new deductions are created for earning up to... Okay. There are limits. There's limits on the taxes and the overtime. So, $6,000 bonus deduction for taxpayers 65 and older. The debt ceiling increase. Oh, that's interesting. Includes 100% tax credit for donations to private school voucher funds and changes to judicial enforcement powers. Pros and cons. Lower and permanent tax rates for most Americans. Largest cuts to Medicaid and SNAP in history. I mean, people are gonna go hungry. Yeah, that's bad. Okay. Tax relief for tip. Yep. Okay. Incentives for business investment and manufacturing. Okay, this one's only temporary. Okay, that's good to know. But take it while you can. Retirees, new bonus. The judicial enforcement restrictions. A little discussed section of the bill restricts federal courts' authority to hold government officials in contempt for violating judicial orders. Now, anyone suing the government must pay a bond before a court can enforce injunctions or restraining orders. This change could significantly weaken the ability of the courts to check executive overreach and protect individual rights, with long-term implications for the balance of power and the rule of law. Would severely restrict the federal authority to hold government in contempt if they violate. A court's ability to hold bad actors in contempt is a vital enforcement power. The second problematic provision found... I don't understand this. So When someone chooses to violate a court order, the judge who issued the ruling has a few different options to enforce them to comply, including holding them in contempt and issuing sanctions, fines, or even jail time until the order is followed. But the reconciliation bill would require anyone suing the government to pay a bond before the court can use its contempt power to enforce. What kind of fucked up shit is this? Wow, okay. A flood of false information. The second problematic provision found in section 43201C. Did you go look for that, everybody? Of the House Reconciliation Bill would impose a 10-year ban on the enforcement of all state and local... Okay, no, this one didn't pass, I think. This one didn't go through. This new version would tie existing funding for broadband infrastructure to compliance with Congress's ban on regulating AI. In other words, states would have to choose between regulating AI or getting federal support to connect their citizens to the internet. Wow, they just made it worse. Because all 50 states received this funding, the effect of the new provision could be the same: a nationwide freeze. Oh my god. Wow. People are so fucked up. Under this policy, everyday Americans would inevitably face exorbitant financial barriers to the justice system, discouraging lawsuits and effectively insulating the government from legal challenges. The update text did not include any version of the provision that would have limited Okay, so maybe it seemed like it was okay. Means that the bill no longer... Okay, so maybe it all turned out okay in the end. Is that what happened here? Except the broadband stuff? Wonder if this is still in there somehow. It kind of sounded like they were taken out, but I'm not sure. The bill changes how gambling winnings and losses are taxed, potentially increasing tax liability for some gamblers by only allowing deduction of 90% of losses against winnings. Okay. Okay, that's helpful. So, I guess... You know, who wins here, so... Immediate 100% expensive capital investment is temporarily permitted. Oh, okay, so they could build now. Capital investments, okay. Yeah, you might see the stock market go up. Like, people are gonna suffer, but the stock market might go up. Oh, okay. So this kind of goes into the thing of like, who are the winners and the losers going to be? How's that going to work out? Let's run. Let's just go over here. Oh, I open one. So 13-week highs. We also want a study on volume, so let's add a condition. I want to add a filter. Volume, minimum. Okay. So $5 minimum, and it's at a 13. Oh, it's 13 day. We want 13 a week. Oh, 26 week. What about a 52 week? So banks that are appearing on my scan here. Oh, it's just financials. Clear that filter. Let's try that again. Because I just had it in financials. Hey, I could do it though. I could do my scan again, so that's good. And when a 13-week scan. Royal Caribbean, that's like just taken off. Not really seeing anything there. I'll have to go through and do another one of like the outperformers and see where I want to go with that. But I am a little drained right now, so I think I need to take a break. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. But we did go through my month in trading, went through my goals, and we filled in part of this. I need to fill in the new trade ideas and maybe some other things. Let me go. How do we navigate this? Oh, I think I was just looking at the news. That's all I was doing. Okay. I share this. Let's see. I guess really just it's a link. I don't think I could have anything more. I'll figure that out later, including it in there. So we know what we're doing with the stuff that's already on the books, but we do need new trades. So thinking about those themes for the next 6 months, and the hype train, market's probably going to go up. That would be my thing. So maybe just kind of keeping that in mind. But with that said, remember this is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended to be advice or recommendation. Trading is risky. Please do your own research. But with that said, I hope you have a safe and profitable trading week, and I'll have my short out a little bit later, and bye bye.